Here we are at the first day of JFH Hero Training as part of WarnerMedia's Urban Action Showcase. This whole week we have amazing training sessions, and it's kicking off today with John Machado, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu icon, UFC coach, action choreographer, and we have his son Jean here as well, who is a hilarious martial arts master himself with an amazing web series on YouTube, Live the Mock Life. The Mach Life. Let me know how I should pronounce that one. But but I'm so grateful to have you guys here. And without further ado, please take it away.
Fantastic! It's great to be with you all on this project, be part of this project with Gian Lucanos, this great team. And so the idea today is I'll give some basic concepts of Jiu-Jitsu and how I teach Jiu-Jitsu. And each person has a unique approach in martial arts. And each instructor will add their own approach to whichever style they teach. And I have my own approach to it. But you can feel free. So I have my student here. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Ed. How you doing? But Jen, you're gonna keep asking questions, okay? And feel free to get up at any time. All right?
I'd love to ask a first question, just in terms of having trained with you. You were my first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teacher, and the one that I consistently, a lot of what we do. For those that don't know, my coach Josh Waitzkin brought me to you to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, in fact, a lot of what we do for the U.S. push hands, Tai Chi push hands team, the grappling style, the perspectives are actually very deeply connected to how you train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And in fact, many of the other teachers I've experienced, the articulation is very different. You have something very, very special, and it's definitely made its way into how we train Tai Chi and Tai Chi push hands, the grappling art of Tai Chi. So my first question is in terms of space control. So, when Josh used to call it like the anaconda, there's something where essentially we're eating space, centimeter by centimeter, every time someone's exhaling, etc. And I'm just wondering if you could give a little more, some exercises that you think are valuable for both either stand up or the ground, for that type of anaconda technique, whether it's with the legs or with the arms, of controlling and eating space on the opponent.
Okay, so I'll give you some basic principles. So you mentioned space. So the space, we use a lot the idea of the language of range. What range are you? So I will start with the clinch. So we have a clinch scenario, okay? So we have a tight, it's the tightest you're gonna be, right? So where you have a clinch control. So I'm starting with this clinch position that I teach a lot, okay? We call that the esgrima training, okay? Where I have an underhook and an overhook, all right? That's also, it's called pommel in Greco-Roman. They master this area here, okay? So overhook, underhook. So how I keep my hips close or far, how I play with this distance. So this is the clinch, and from here, I teach that as also as part of the warm-up where we're gonna switch. So Jean turn his back, okay? So first if the legs square, square. I'll switch always on the side of my head. I switch my hand in and he switch as well. Boom, and I close. So I back up a little bit, I switch and he'll switch. And then you get into a flow where natural. It becomes a warm-up, okay? So lateral. So first off, I don't move my legs, just the upper body. So I lean forward a little bit, okay? Head always to the side, okay? Looking away so my throat's not exposed. Now I back up a little bit, switch, back up a little bit, switch. So we keep playing that, okay? So this is the phase one where people will become familiar with the esgrima. Good, Jen. Then we pass these, now we add the footwork every time, my leading leg is always on the side of the other hook. So now I'm leading, so I have that leg forward and he's switching as well. So as I switch, 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 okay? So we go here, as I switch, switch. So this is one drill that I teach day one, and you become familiar with another person's body, because you need to feel, we're not lifting weights, we're working with another human being, so you need to feel that how malleable the body is. And I compare that to a boxer drill doing short uppercuts. This is essential for escaping, for protect yourself, to evade areas, to escape, as well as to attack. And then we start adding the footwork now. We start walking with it, where he's walking toward me first, as he switch, I back up, and I counter. Now you tell me that like these start matching all the drills in judo, all the drills in kung fu, karate, start becoming more and more similar. Now I'm attacking him, he's playing the defense. Boom, right? And we do that from one edge to the other on the mat. These are fun to do, teach you the footwork, teach you how to feel the body. Why this is essential when you get into a clinch? If someone, the most basic aspect, if you don't have the understanding of that, okay, when you get into a clinch, body-to-body scenario, and someone controls your spine, it's a wrap. Because when I control his spine, I have a takedown. I can throw him very easily, okay? So from over his arms, one arm under, one arm over, it doesn't matter. What's the combo? Both in, both over, or such. If I control his spine, I have the advantage, yes. So what's essential here with this underhook is that you keep a distance where now I can't hold his back anymore. So this arm now protects him, and vice versa, right? So just by understanding this element, I switch to attack or he counters. So I never have the edge. Now he will initiate, go. I wait for him to initiate and I counter. Boom. So it's not I wait for him to initiate. Go ahead. Oh, and then I count. I wait for him to initiate. Okay? So we add that element where you're not just moving. First just moving. Now I move in reaction to him to counter. You see? So if I attack, he'll wait. As I initiate, I'm going, now he'll count. Boom. Wow. I have nothing. So in this drill alone, you deal with the clinch, okay? Are you following?
Yeah, Professor, I had a question, a follow-up question on that. So you're saying that essentially you're blocking the throw. You're part of the space control is essentially when the opponent is lifting the arm to try to grab that, essentially get the control of the spine. You're essentially inflating the arm to stick to the attacking arm, correct?
Yes. So, for example, where his attack will come from the other side, right? He'll come always on the same side of the head. You see, that's where he's going to initiate, right? And myself, the body symmetric. That's also my attack side and my defense side. You see, he cannot use if he use this side to attack. I take it back. That side stops me from going behind him. I cannot go behind him. Look, he blocks me. You see? And if he try to go around me, that arm blocks him. You got it? So that's where I work through this side. Now, as I switch to it, but he has the same understanding, so he switch and he recovers the control. So now we're talking about the space, but it's about control. The key word in Jiu-Jitsu is control. Okay? So I'm fighting to keep the control. So when I lose control, I deal with it, but I regain the control. Yes, very good. Very good, but you switch your head every time. Your head go left and right, like a capoeira guy doing the ginga. You see here, the same idea. Yeah, so as you switch your head. Yes, excellent. That's the drill, and you just get good at it. Just, but very relaxed. You're not muscling. Feel the body, okay? And now, do that. So first, let's recap. So first, stationary, no legs. You just get the upper body working. Very basic idea. I just want the student to get the arms in the right motion, and that's all I care in the beginning. Okay. So I'm not worried if he's leaving the hand too low on the waist, if he's not trapping the arm precisely, if his arm is just kind of top of the arm or anywhere here, it's okay. The next phase, you start correcting. Okay, now the hand's right behind the elbow, the control. And also my arm, I keep the arm down like the wing. The big trap is not so much as the arm as the wing. When I collapse my arm and I'm using the back muscle to collapse, like wings, that's a massive control. So if you try to pull the arm's stuck. Plus I have the hand, see? So I'm doing a sandwich on his arm here, boom. And then I control behind the elbow. But these I only show it later. All at the beginning is these. I get good at this. Just have fun doing that. You can even talk as you do it. Yeah, you know, instead of doing jumping jacks, that's what we do. Okay, right away, a little stretch. Hey, get your partner to do some screamer, and they just, okay, you got that. Now you got the leg work. Bang, and just that's the next step. And every time you switch, your control is perfect now. The high upper hook. So my arm is not here. It's up here, because I want to control the upper body. And this one is behind the elbow. So at that point, the student are ready. Okay. Then after that, we start moving with it. Why? You're dancing, right? So the fight now, he's pushing. He wants to push me to the wall, right? So he must know how to control. Now he's using this to trap me, right? Now he's using to attack. I counter, right? So how do you move in circle now? How do I move? So now you learn how to spin him around. So I think this is simple, but essential to understand the control, because it's the same. You're going to use the same thing on the ground. Okay?
So, Professor, I don't want to be the one dominating the questions here.
Please do.
I'm really interested in how do you train sensitivity on your own prior to working with a partner in jiu-jitsu? And most specifically, I'm interested in training my feet, my legs to be more sensitive, because in Tai Chi, we have push hands. We're always doing lots of sensitivity drills on the arms. But again, even prior to working with a partner, there are particular exercises that I can do on my own to enhance my sensitivity. So I'm wondering, what are the sensitivity drills that jiu-jitsu has that someone could do on their own?
So even during this whole COVID thing, where I was teaching for a time being lessons on Zoom, that became the biggest challenge for the students that were training solo, right? Some students had partners, and it is a challenge, because in martial arts, the best is to have another body to practice with, okay? Especially if you're talking about grappling arts, like jiu-jitsu. So on the ground is a challenge. So we had so what I started doing was more, because the stand-up is very easy to do. The stand-up, you can shadow everything. Everything is a kata. So the stand-up, everything we did, you can do on your own. So you can do first here, you keep switching, boom. So it's now look like you're punching, right? So you're going under hook, boom. But to try, get the circular and the head and bobbing sides. Then each time you're leading now, these legs forward. So now you go here, boom, boom, boom. So we did all of it, stand up. I started doing a lot of stand-up on Zoom. And on the ground, we had little dummies. But remember, these are already my students. They are my students already, so they know the language. So it was very easy to make dummies and start having fun with the dummies and playing a little bit on the ground. But even on the ground, I show you a tool that I use on the ground that we started doing this in the 90s. Then we showed Daniel Santo how to use it. And, okay, which is the ball, the yoga ball, the air ball. And the air ball mimics the body. So, for example, when I go over here, okay, so this now is like a side control. So I'm controlling. Now I'm going to switch my base. Okay, so I can switch my base and keep my balance. The reason the ball is important is because it's the balance effect, right? So here you can go, you can attack, you can choke, I can switch my base fully, lateral, go here. I can go to the back, like I'm controlling, going to this side, which is a position that happens a lot, okay? Now we do the sprawl here, for example, so he pushed the ball to me, right? So I'm gonna go and sprawl on it. And then I take the back, I go around the back. So these are things you can do. It's a great tool to give you the balance. Otherwise, it's on the floor, you don't have the same feel. You're just gonna be doing, just going over. With a dummy, you can visualize where have his head in a position. Okay, his head is north. So we can go here, set up the mouse, the positions, right, where you can work the submissions. You can do all of that, but the ground is challenging, in my opinion.
Hip escape.
It's much easier to do the standing techniques. The ground, what you can do always on your own is the movements that I have to do, train my body to move. So what are the main moves in Jiu-Jitsu? Hip escapes, right? Hip spinning, and the bump, the hip whoopers, right? So I give an example. So I give you the basic example. So you're gonna do the little hip escape, right? The real hip escape, you can come back like you're coming to the guard. So you can do back and forth. You can do this. I can use the length of the floor. I'm gonna go here, the hip escape. But I'm not doing any technique. But you're training the movements, okay? So where you're gonna do the hip bump and turn, so you can flip the person, okay? Go knee on the floor, get on top. What else you're gonna practice? The hip spinning, okay? You can use the wall to do, is a great partner. So you have the wall, okay? So you're here seated, you're gonna back up, okay? Bring your leg up to the guards, okay? So protect yourself. So that's the person. Now I'm gonna do the hip spin, and that's important for the armbar. Okay? No, it's okay. See, so how I use the foot on the wall, that foot to get the spinning that I want to. So now here would be what? An armbar. So the wall, the floor, but there are a lot of limitations, but I'm sweating just by doing so. You can play with it. Any question? Please feel free.
I still have that was great. I want to can you get a little bit more granular on the hip it's the hip bump to the turn. I want to be able to drill that on my own, and I know the technique when playing on the ground, but I don't necessarily know the drill for it, and I would like to become more refined.
Okay, so we're gonna show you two. All right, so watch my feet. Okay. So here, I'm gonna do what's the basic, okay? Where I'm gonna hip, turn my knee to get the support. Now I flip, right? So I can flip. You got it? Go, hip up, Start turning to your shoulder, feet on the floor. I'm sorry, knee on the floor, now flip. Good job. But here's what happened, okay? When you say hip escape, or you say the hip turn, okay, you can go whichever direction, and this is the, yeah, that's perfect. Good, flip it over, very good. All right, now look how interesting it is, okay? So I'm here. So when you ask people hip escape, they say, oh, I'm gonna do the shrimp. They call the shrimp a very long motion. But what I explain is this. When you escape your hip, if you do a very long motion, would be like, it's okay, I can go down. Imagine a striker that goes like this. I'm gonna throw a punch at you, okay? So I'm gonna throw a punch, but I'm gonna do this now with the punch. No, watch me, Jen, look. As an example, this is an example. I'm gonna do this with my punch. Look. I'm gonna go here, look. You see what I'm doing? Right? So as a martial artist, is that the best approach? Right? So, so I'm not only telegraph and make it bigger than what, instead of go direct, shortest distance, right? So the hip escape, at first I show just move up and down the mat, but then I said, okay, you see my approach? Just like I was explaining the esgrima drill, first just get your arms through, get the motion. That's the shrimp. I explained the same. You get that, now we go to the next level. I said, look, this is like doing a punch like this. You got it? The hip escape in training has to be shorter. Why? Because you want to be bang, quick, speed, waste less time and less energy. So the extra hip escape we're going to do is going to be very short like this. Okay? So be very short. You got it? So I have a strong frame. So I relate to, já levanta pouquinho, yeah, tiny bit. Good. I relate to a person trying to block a kick. Okay. So if you're gonna take like a Muay Thai fighter, just raising his leg, putting his leg and his elbow combined. That exact, Jen, perfect. Now look at watch your position. No, stay there. Stay on the position. Look how powerful you are. Look, let's change that to Muay Thai. What can you do from there? Imagine the guy is over here on your side. What can you do from there? If it was a striking situation, look at your position, how strong you are here. The guy's over here, right? Oh, exact, look, bang, right? Knee strike. Now another knee strike here. You go here like bang, right? Now long kick, bang, right? Now step kick, bang, right? So picture with me now. This elbow, bang, elbows. Look how powerful you are in that situation, right? Excellent. That's how you're gonna escape. So you're gonna go short, and then you get your knee in. You got it? So you're not doing a long motion. So já cheguei. So aqui desse lado aqui assim. Okay? So when I do a long shrimp, he travels with me. I'm gonna do a long shrimp. Stay on top. Só fica seguindo. Segue a cabeça. Okay? So he travels with me. Okay? Now I'm gonna do a short one. Okay? So I'm gonna go here, look. What happened already? Look, my knee's there. I'm already expanding. Okay? So I'm gonna go here, look. It's short. I wanna get in there quick on the hip. Now I'm already in guard. So I'm protecting myself. So now I can attack. I can put the grappling scenario. Okay? Get tighter. You choose what range you wanna do. So I'm working on those spaces, right? See? So same principles that we did on the palm, I'm using here for the hipscapes.
Professor, I'd love to, if does anyone have any questions right now? If I don't want to dominate the conversation.
Ed is my student. He's looking down there. He's my private student. He asked me 10 questions per class. So he started it like 10.
I've got a question, Jan.
Yes.
For Sensei. So, Sensei, when you're teaching students, especially beginning students, do you have difficulty teaching them how to use the hips? Do they sometimes have a tendency to just want to use the upper body?
Yes. Very much so. It's like, put it this way, it's like it's so natural for many people use the upper body.
Yes.
Right? Because they've been striking, they've been using their hands more. It's like you teach a basketball player to play soccer. It's going to take a while. He needs to build his hips, learn how to use his legs accordingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I give an example. Part of the warm-up, I teach a drill like this, okay? Let me make sure you can see me good here. I show this drill here, just like I do. We did the palm of the students. Mm-hmm. This is solo. I said, look, you're going to kick one way, rotate your body another way. You're going to go like this. So this is natural for who plays soccer. That's how you kick a soccer ball, look. But that's also how you throw a knee strike. So I want them to get used to this. But once you get here, base switch and you go here. So that's, okay, it can be foot lateral. Doesn't matter if they want to throw like straight foot like this, or can do a little bit crossways like this, across. Okay, not crazy. To build that coordination that you're talking about.
Upper and lower.
I'm telling you, 90% of the students, they go like this. They can't do that. They go like this. Look, they go like this. It look like they're dancing or something like that. And they go same direction. They can't go here. Switching. So little things like this I do just to help them get the coordination. It is challenging.
Thank you.
But I will do a lot of those shrimps for them. Get them to do the shrimp, but the shrimp is a big movement. The issue of the shrimp, look at the shrimp like the first student just doing a basic esgrima. Doesn't mean he's gonna throw anybody or that he'll learn to everything about protecting his spine just because he's doing that. No, he needs to do the footwork, learn how to do the walk, get all those other steps, then they will be solid. Mm-hmm. So, and that's same with the hipscape. Make smaller.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor, I had another question in terms of your approach to bringing jiu-jitsu to choreography, to filmed choreography. So, when it comes to doing that, especially for the JFH heroes that are going to be producing their own scenes and may want to understand a little bit more about capturing on camera the tight spaces, the small moments of jiu-jitsu. What are some of your thoughts and maybe favorite techniques that you like to put in front of a camera that look great on film but are also realistic?
No, so I mean, we're talking about that yesterday, right? And as we spoke so many times, it's each art has its best approach. So when you look at Kung Fu film, oh my goodness, like they do their best the way they do. And I enjoy watching Kung Fu films, how they do the subtleness, the footwork. I like everything about it. You know, I'm a big fan. And I get a lot of inspirations from it. And I think, first, okay, look at Steven Seagal, how he used to do his throws. And he used the wides, and because people are flying. Even on John Wick, those beautiful throws, they all look great with a wide, right? With a wide pen, because people are flying. But if you show a grappling fight from wide, just when they're grappling, it's troublesome unless it's the very submission of it, like when that choke happens, when that armbar happens, that any submissions happen, right? But I think it's like you need to get in there. So you need to be getting close, pulling back, and also slowing speed when they are going for like a choke or something like, so the people can follow whatever is going on there, like the guy passing out or something. Or Arnold used to break people's neck like every day. He'll put a guillotine like, crack, break people's neck, remember? Always worked for him. He's a big guy, super muscular. And he made those guillotines and those neck chokes. He would like, and the guy broke his neck. How hard it is to do that, right? But it looked great for him. So, like I said, I think you can explore a lot more, but you need to get in there. That's my only issue. Otherwise, it's gonna look, people know what's happening, it takes away from the action, from the motion. You know, you're watching a movie and you see like, it will stop the action in my eyes, you know?
So, do you have a favorite technique that, you know, one that's at the top of your head that you like to put on camera that might be a fun thing to play with?
Anytime I go to something that, boy, they need something quick, you show a quick arm break, these always look good. And I'll show here, Jean, cheguei. Yeah, he's coming soon. He's busy, he's coming here. But the arm breaks, so you can do quick arm breaks over your shoulder, over the arm, and these always look good. And you can always make it work, especially when you're doing a gun takeaway, a weapon takeaway, where you go and snap that arm. After, when you're doing the disarming, looks great. I love those, actually.
I've actually never shot any breaks like that, so I'd love to see this.
Oh, we gotta do it, man. You know, we did a lot of shooting. That project you did, a lot of shooting and strikes. Not much of that. True, that's true. Your dad was beating me up. I tried to, but your dad had to win.
It definitely means so much to me to have you and my dad in a fight scene. So,
but you put your dad to beat me up. I couldn't do it to him. I wanted to, but. Oh my goodness.
Professor, and how would you? I mean, I'm interested to see. You mentioned the connection between with the arm break being something that's quick to show and easy to do, but when connected to disarming. So I'm interested in some other basic principles that you would say maybe a top principle or top three principles that you would say that when you're bridging from the grappling side into a disarming of whether it's a knife or a gun, and I'm sure that they're likely principles that you would have someone drill from a mentality standpoint.
So, for example, you know that in my training in Jiu-Jitsu, as a teacher, I had two very instrumental students, right? So I had first Daniel Santo, Sifu Dan, very famous, a JKD instructor, Bruce Lee, student and friend of many years. And he became a Machado student. And during over 10 years, I was teaching him private lessons to Daniel Santo, okay, in Jiu-Jitsu. But when you're teaching a master, it's very interesting. As much as I was teaching, I was learning. So I was showing him the Jiu-Jitsu, but just the way he moved was very interesting to me. Even in his older age, the way he moved was very, very unique. And the questions. So the conversations that we had, his questions in Jiu-Jitsu were never basic questions. His questions were like very high level. They were always so high level, and was always you know, the lesson that you always come out. And I want that experience for my students. I want them to come out of the lesson with that notion that, oh, I'm better now. I know more than what I knew when I had this lesson. I had that with Danilo Santo. Every time I was teaching him, because we would get into, we train like for, usually, our lesson was like 45 minutes to an hour, right? We would always train for 2 or more, just on questions and talking, right? And then later, he got higher level in Jiu-Jitsu. The questions were a lot about where we'd be talking about other arts, where he would have like a question from his multiple styles. Hey, in my style, I do this, this, and this. And then I end up in this situation. And he would ask me, how would you go from here? Just random questions like this. And I would explain my point of view. From here, I would do such, such, such. So throughout my adulthood, and by working for other fellow martial artists from multiple styles, as far back as Leo Fong, if you don't know, I worked with Leo Fong for many years, and Kung Fu master, right? And he became my student, but same thing, he was like a mentor to me, right? In so many ways. And I met Master Wally J, founder of a Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu, same thing. We had great conversations. I never taught him anything but Jiu-Jitsu, but he had students that became our students. I would learn from him by having conversations. So to summarize, I started develop this ability to more and more be able to blend the other styles and not only absorb from them, but to contribute to them. So with Danilo Santo, tremendously. And with my student, Avi Nardia, who's an Israeli martial artist, who became a black belt with me in Jiu-Jitsu, but he's a master on his gun training, disarming. He's an incredible individual in what he does. And I learned a lot from him, helping him with the Jiu-Jitsu, finishing certain things, but learning his ideas. So for example, so the idea that I always spoke about, like emphasize the control is essential. So once I initiate something, okay? So for example, if he has good control, he'll do his best to keep a control of any scenario. So could be this, could be anything, right? But if I start getting away, he doesn't have good control, he loses the control. So the idea of control is not that I have to paralyze him from moving, but as he moves, he can move and move with him. So I know how to follow him. So I'm just dancing with him. I keep the control, but doesn't mean I'm stationary. Yes. So you have to keep the footwork and you follow him wherever he goes. You don't lose him. Yeah, so this is a very important drill where one guy try to get away, so I let go my grips and he has to keep it. Right? And he just follows. So that's the idea of control. So you're not trying to stop me from moving. So he try to get away now. He relaxes his arm. And I'm not trying to, it's not a tag of war. Try to get away. Power. No, I control some tension and I just dance with this guy. He goes, I go. Okay, you got it? So I save energy, I can follow him anywhere. So now to your question. So when you're doing any weapon disarming, so it could be a knife, it could be a gun, the same principle applies, right? So the sticky hands, right? Sticky hands, right? Chisel, sticky hands. So that principle is the same to me where I keep the control. So if I have a weapon of any type and I'm controlling and he backs away and I don't follow, what happened now? The weapon is pointing to me or he's cutting, slicing my hand, he's getting away. So it's as simple as that. I'll have a better control. I must have a good control of the angles because I don't want that gun to point at me or the knife to stab me. But just one hand as an example, but he moves. I always move with him. So he keep moving, keep moving. Look, I just follow him, just keep moving. And of course I'm gonna use two hands. You got it? Of course, I'm going to isolate that arm. When he moves, I just follow it. Yeah. So is the part of that I emphasize when I teach that is the retention. Once you control, it's yours. Could be my weapon and he's trying to take it away, or I'm trying to take away his weapon. How do I keep the retention? And use the control, the jiu-jitsu idea of the control to stay in control, right? And with that, how I add a takedown, see? So not only I have control, but now I have the takedown, right? So now I have, but the whole time I have the control. I keep the tension. So that's starts with the sensitive drill. What I see doing Tai Chi, I relate these, how I control and I keep following, keep it in control, continues.
Professor, I know that you only have a few minutes left, and I want to see if you could show us that arm break for camera.
Oh, for example, anytime, like I gave even an example. So anytime he goes here, little arm breaks, and you're like, bang, have a great impact. Like, bang, right? Elbow, the breaks. But in any scenario, okay, where you can go a weapon disarm, but you see here, where you can go here, go for the shoulder, break in the back, over here, get behind. See here, control his arm, crank it. And then you get fancy, right? You get him over here, then you can bang, step over. Then you snap and walk away. I mean, you do the movie thing, right?
So what is the best way to sell the snap without hurting somebody?
So these are, I think, you as a director will be the angle that you're gonna use. So that snap, okay? So if you go from here, I mean, you're not gonna see much. So you're gonna have to find where you go get the best angle for your camera. You got it?
That was some great.
So that's teamwork. That's the teamwork that we're talking yesterday about, where from previous films, the experience we mentioned where you had great guys filming, but they didn't know how to edit it. So you couldn't see the techniques. So if you film like the Kung Fu fight, but you don't show the foot switch of the fighter, right? If you watch Ip Man and you don't show his little foot switch, right? And the dust kind of coming up, right? Donnie Yen doing his like, when you see that, it's like, oh, it's a wrap, right?
Ip Man wanted to
know that, yeah.
Professor, thank you so much for and John. Thank you both for.
Oh, my pleasure. Let's do more of it in exploring and I'm here to. It's a new format, it's a new idea, but I'm enjoying a lot.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you everybody who attended, and thanks so much WarnerMedia and the Urban Action Showcase for helping us have a reason to come together and train. So, thank you guys. Love you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Us.